When last we saw our heroes, they were at odds, and the ship was being sucked into an anomaly thanks to a gravity well. They were doomed, and it was time to set their affairs in order. But by the end of this episode, the crew had rescued themselves, the awaiting strike was all but destroyed, and we got rid of the rogue changeling on board. And Shaw? Well, Shaw is still a dick, but even he had a moment to shine, as well as Seven and Jack. Hi, and welcome back to Katie's Corner in Space, and this week's standout scenes for Picard Season 3, Episode 4, No-Win Scenario. I'm sorry for the late review, but as we know, sometimes life and illness do not go well with productivity. But we got here, so let's get to it. Like last week, there were some incredible moments, and to be honest, too many that were vital to the story and to the understanding of the characters. So, this week, I'm totally cheating. I've got an extra scene I just had to include, and I have to start with one of the predictions of concern, which turned out to be true, and that is the species of our villain, Vadic. Oh yeah, all changeling and not even a higher up, just an expendable underling. Which leads me to more speculation on the leader of this faction. Though I suppose when you are both one and many, losing one isn't much of a risk, but we now have confirmation it's a changeling affair, and with one already on board the Titan before Jack, they have something much bigger going on than we can see yet. Luckily for Vadic, an asteroid caused damage. Riker has good aim, but didn't seem to destroy the Shrike. Oh, and not really a major component, but when Vadic disengages, she doesn't just mean turn it off. This little addition made me giggle. Something about the label being right there was a bit absurd, yet I appreciated the detail. Now for the Titan to have a shot escaping, we had to depend on one man we can all agree is a real jerk, because I'm trying to keep the cursing to a minimum for YouTube. But he and Seven worked together despite their differences, his obvious dislike for her and her mutual feelings. It didn't stop them from not only making the necessary repairs, but taking out the changeling who picked poor Sydney of all people to impersonate. What good luck for Commander 7. And because we saw two remarkable things in that scene, Shaw being helpful and the changeling getting offed, it gets a place right here. I also enjoyed Riker's little hint early on that Seven could possibly search for the changeling best if she was still relieved of duty. There was something in that nod back as she understood his meaning, which was so very Seven. But the best scene of the week is the Great Escape. But not just that. The crew working together, including Jack, who had the bright idea to use the power generated by the anomaly, womb, though it took a speech by Beverly and an extra nudge by Picard to convince Riker. I loved how each played to their strengths, Beverly taking note and figuring out where they truly were by identifying the anomaly simply by the clues given, Picard maneuvering his way blindly as captain, and Will right next to him directing the crew. They even included Jack as he read out each asteroid's location. It was a nice touch. But yes, that bit where they used the anomaly's energy and rode the wave out was fantastic, both in execution and, of course, I dug the graphics. And those are the scenes that were vital to the plot, but don't worry, I had two more scenes I loved and decided I needed to have two honorable mentions this week. But before I get to that, if you're enjoying this video, hit that subscribe button below and give me a like. Now, if you were here last week, I attempted a giveaway of some channel swag, but I had no takers, which I take to mean you'd prefer more Trek-centric items. So I've decided to give it one more go. This time, letting you have a say in what is given away. So here are some designs I made in place of channel swag. So let me know which you prefer in the comments, and I'll see what, if any, designs are winners. That will be part of a giveaway in a video next week. Now, back to the show. This season is, of course, all about those looks back into the Trek that came before, but it also relies heavily on family and, of course, currently, the relationship between father and son. And so this week, I had to have that scene concerning William and his feelings of nothing coming after all this, as he put it. So he was questioning life after death, not unusual at his age. And as we suspected, he's taking time away for the sake of his family because Deanna can't help but feel what he feels. It's no surprise that Picard meeting his son only made Will question things even more. And honestly, I can see why he was so upset. He'd come to see the why and what happens of it all, and here he was facing what he's worried may be the nothing to come. But after this harrowing escape from the anomaly, he has new perspective and is finally able to not just try to right Deanna, but talk with her. And so the culmination and happy ending gets an honorable mention here, because I like happy endings. On the other hand, watching Picard be the center of attention as he held spontaneous court for cadets was nice, and watching him introduce 10 Forward to his son while exchanging stories was also nice. Shaw ruining it was predictable, and explained why Shaw is so by the book. He feels he has to live up to the privilege of being alive, and he blames that privilege on Picard. But as bad as that was, there's the pain, because that seems to be the other theme of this season, as he realizes he missed the opportunity of meeting his son by answering a question in exactly the way you answer such a thing for cadets. And Jack's heart broke that day. Picard's 20 years later. Luckily, everyone is now out of danger and the world will be full of rainbows and unicorns. Oh, except Jack is having wacky visions about doors and red silhouettes and what reminds me of The Last of Us tendrils, but again in red, crawling up and around the walls, plus some ominous voice asking him to find them. It looks familiar, but I really don't think it's because of The Last of Us, so any thoughts? While I really liked this episode, obviously, if I had to go with 2 honorable mentions here, I was disappointed we still haven't introduced Geordi, and a complete absence of Worf and Rafi, though I suppose that's because travel time to the Daystrom Institute is longer than the 4 hours to escape the anomaly that's really a womb, which even though I didn't mention specifically, was pretty cool and kind of made me wish Tendi was there. I was really impressed with the imaginative escape plan and those scenes with Shaw and Seven working together, but I do have one complaint. Why the hell did Vadic cut off her hand? Was it because she needed so much mass for the communication? Because I swear Odo could just separate himself from, himself when, say, Bashir wanted to examine him. I don't know, that bit seemed kind of ridiculous, but other than that, no huge complaints on this one. So far, I'm engaged with the story. Now I have to be concerned with whatever is giving Jack visions, plus the ultimate leader of the rebels and the changelings' big plans, because there's no limit as to how far this changeling faction could have infiltrated the Solids over the past nearly 25 years. I mean, I hope when Geordi does show up, he's really Geordi, or I'm gonna be hot. Hopefully, we'll see him next week, and until then, make yourself heard in the comments below and let me know which merchandise you'd like to get next week in the giveaway. And until then, please enjoy another video, and I will see you there.